Hey everyone, quick video here. I got a package in from Snestastic, and if you know Pete, he is one of the nicest guys on here. I've watched him, gotta be one of the longest I've watched on here. He recently decided to switch from a North American to a Japanese Famicom collection or Super Famicom, so he got rid of his old Super Nintendo games. I got a few off of them. Haven't got too much else in, so I'll just show those real quick. I do owe McFly a video. I wanted to do it as a gameplay footage, but it did not come out well, and that's because I do not get on well with a 3DO controller, so I bought this. It's a joypad converter. It uses a PlayStation 1 or 2 controller for the 3DO. This just came in. It took a while. I got held up in customs. I have another converter from the same company. It's worked well, so hopefully this one will work out good. I've got to record the footage, and I've never used Elgato's narration or voice recording aspect, so I'm gonna see how that even works, or if I have to do it in another program. But I'll record the footage soon, and hopefully that'll work out just as well as the other one. The two older titles I got in, Twinkle Star Sprites. I was able to get this for pretty cheap. Well, I say pretty cheap, probably about 25% off, because there is some sun fading on the back. To be honest, I would have noticed it, but it doesn't immediately catch your eye because it's really light on the corner here. It came with everything else, bind card and disc. Years back I had a chance to get this. A guy was going to trade me, and he asked if I wanted that or this game called Vermilion Desert. I looked at that. I couldn't make heads or tails of it, but I thought Vermilion Desert looked really cool. I got it, and it was trash. You would sit through 15 to 20 minute long sequences of dialogue before you could get to 10 minutes of this really repetitive turn-based combat. Big mistake, big mistake. The other older title I got in is Real Bout Special Dominated Mind, or Real Bout Special Dominated Mind. While the Saturn got the first two Real Bouts, or technically not the first two, the Neo Geo CD got Real Bout 2, the Saturn got Real Bout Special. The PlayStation only got this one. There are some adjustments. You can't switch planes, but on the plus side, they added a final boss that's designed after Alex in A Clockwork Orange. So that's the main reason I got this. I wanted to check them out. And it comes with a little bonus disc with a bunch of art and all sorts of things on it. CD-ROM 2, that's the special disc, and it's got fan art and art from the developers. I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to check this out. I've been playing other versions of this, so I'll be getting to this one soon. I got a really good deal on that. I think about $17. Took a while to come in too because I opted for cheaper shipping. Also came with some candy. Japanese sellers tend to do that, either green tea or candy. I don't ever eat or drink it, but yeah, I appreciate it. For newer stuff, only two titles. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. I really enjoy this when I'm playing against the computer, but when I go online, it's a travesty. I don't know what I'm doing. I just quit the other night because I fought 3 unranked matches in a row, and I was just getting bounced from one side of the screen to the other. I could not do anything. The first ranked match I played, I actually won. Switched to unranked after I practiced for hours, and I did not get one win after about 5, and I just quit because that's just not fun. Because what I was learning, I could not apply because there are a handful of really good characters in that game, and once they start unleashing, I have no clue how to stop the combos. You know, you have a burst reflective move that'll shoot them back, but that takes time to charge, and in the meantime, I am just getting decimated. But it's got some really cool modes for single player. It has, like the first one, there's a tutorial mode, a lesson mode, a challenge mode. There's score attack, but they also added Golden Arena mode, which is you go through levels of the game, but they act like they're dungeons, and along the way you gain experience and you gain spells just like in the game, and those will kick in as you play. So you might get stronger medium attacks or regenerating health. The enemy might start with less health. You also can build social links and score attack to unlock partners for Arena, and they'll level up and have they'll have bonuses as well to help you. So that's really cool. So this is a lot of fun. The story mode is so long. It has 2 stories, one for the Persona 4 crew and one for the Persona 3. If you got the free Adachi DLC, he's got his own side story, and there are more hours in that story mode than most other games. It is ridiculous. Some of it is filler, which I was surprised at. Not so much because the first one had something similar, but there's so much voiced over dialogue and translated text. I would have thought they would have minimized that some to save on cost, because some of the dialogue's not really necessary. They're just repeating the same bits someone else said. But of course, there's a lot of funny moments, some great voiceover work, and just what's nice is you can skip over those and just check the log to see if you missed anything. You can have the computer autoplay the battles for you in story mode if you don't want to, or you can play arcade mode and you get kind of summarized storylines. The characters will come on and talk to each other, and if you play the actual story mode, you'll see what they're doing is really truncating 15 minutes of dialogue into 3 text bubbles. So just a bunch of different ways to play this, and it's a lot of fun, but I am in no way competent enough to continue playing that against other people. The other new game I got in is Destiny. This is weird because Bungie, for as long as I've known them, has always been known to be big proponents of story. I have Myth 1 and 2 over there, which are strategy games, which have excellent presentation, pretty good backstory and lore, but even then at a time, backstory and lore wasn't really big in strategy games, and they still pushed it. Marathon, especially their first shooter series, had tons of text in it, way more than most other shooters at the time. But when you play this, the story mode's short, and there's really no story to speak of. After a few missions, you get someone that tells you to go here, go there, and they'll introduce one of the alien races. And then when you finally get like a cutscene, there's maybe 3 or 4 throughout the whole game, and the only substantial one's at the end before the last set of missions. And then it just ends, and you're like, what? This is the company known for this, especially Halo. People love the Halo lore. There's so many books and movies and the games themselves. It's so abbreviated in this and just half-assed. And it also suffers from the same mission failures as MMOs, like traditional MMOs, in that there's only a handful of missions, and to level up, you have to play them so much you get tired of them. But two big, strong things with this. One, the mechanics. It's got some of the most enjoyable gun mechanic, or let's say action mechanics I've come across. All the guns feel great. The rocket launchers feel great. Sniper rifles. Gliding is awesome. Teleporting, double jumping. You can use the powers you get in this. You have a class and you have a subclass. There's 3, I guess you'd call them elements, and you can get a variety of abilities in each. Say Void has a bomb that will suck people in. That's one I've been using. There's Fire, and I forgot the other one. But when you play that online, it is just so much fun because everyone's double jumping. There's unlimited running and unlimited jumping. When you jump, you have a height limit, but it doesn't recharge or anything. As soon as you hit the ground, you can double jump again if you have that power, the extra height power. And that is so much fun because you can clear huge portions of maps if you know exactly where to jump. Now, they do try to level off, so the level differential won't really matter when you play, but people will still get to keep their really good guns, and so you'll get one-hit kills, which is frustrating. But overall, they also have sliding in this, which I'm a big fan of, and I use it all the time. There was one guy just killing everyone. He would slide into them and pop up with a shotgun, and that guy must have just single-handedly carried his team. He was a monster. But I've been playing this online still. Single player, a disappointment, but versus modes, just a lot of fun. And the maps are really well designed too. Since you have to have an internet connection to play this, not a big thing that it's predominantly better online because you're doing it anyway. So yeah, hopefully they update with more raids and stuff to spice it up so you can play solo more. But awesome mechanics, great multiplayer. They just need more mission variety. And this is what I got off of Pete. Initially, I saw these, and I really wanted one of them. I sent him a list, and he said, well, one of those has already been gone. And he said, but I have the rest, and here's the prices. And I saw the prices in pounds, and I thought, wow, that's really good. This is going to be great. And then I did the exchange rate, and then I got sad, because when I saw the exchange rate, it was 0.61 to the pound. I'm not sure when he did it, but my prices were close to his, so it was about that. So I was, depending on when he kind of gave me the price, it was 35 to 40% extra I had to pay. I'm not sure if he took the exchange rate into account. The prices were more than fair, and I think for pound-wise, were probably really, really fair. It's just the exchange rate is abysmal, but it always is for the pound. But I wasn't sure if I should just to go with this, but I got a little bump up in pay at work to do their website, which is basically me struggling to relearn everything I've forgotten over the years. But that's my minimal experience is way beyond their no experience, so they don't care, and they're like, just do it. And I had an anniversary, 5 years. I got some money from relatives, but my wife had gone on a trip the weekend before and came back and kind of was under the weather, so she didn't want to do anything. She used the money and got a meal out. I've been on a diet, so I just said, no, I'll hold on to my money, and I put it towards this, which is a great cause, by the way. We were going to go to, not to so you don't think I had nothing planned. We were going to go to our bed and breakfast we went to on our honeymoon. It's been open for about 50 years, but of course it closed in June. And since she came back sick anyway, it didn't really matter because she just watched reruns of What I Lie to You on the sofa. So these are the ones I got. Initially, this is the one I really, really wanted. Cyber Nader. Now, this is part 3 in the, I might not pronounce this right, Assault Suit Lanos series. Recently, I showed in a pickup video, I got part 1, Target Earth, for the Genesis. I got part 2, which is called Assault Suit Lanos 2. It's an import for the Saturn, and this is part 3. Why I hadn't picked this one up yet, and Pete gave me all these protectors with it, so thanks a lot, Pete. Actually, because of that, I was trying to see if they were the same as the ones I bought, and I showed in a recent pickup video, and I picked the first game up like this, and of course it fell out of my hand, and you know what? Not a dent, so these do work. They're Sentinel cases. But anyway, this game was really expensive when I checked on it. Now, it's got some wear on the side. It's got some writing in the manual. And normally I don't go for that. But to get this in a... It's kind of like with Twinkle Star Sprites. To get this in a better condition was $90 or some odd dollars. And I was just never going to pay that. So instead, slash 30 some odd dollars off that. And I got this version, which is complete. I will try to get a better manual at some point. And I got a replacement trays coming in of the cardboard that goes inside, so all these will have fresh trays. But the game itself plays great. Although when I played it, it kept pausing when I tried to jump, and it turned out my Super Nintendo controller had kind of, even though it's just been in a closet for years, gone out, so I had to clean all the contacts. But finally got it working. This was a lot of fun. Excellent attempt at replicating momentum in this, because you play in this looks not good. The actual robot looks pretty cool in the game. It's heavy, so when you run, it takes a few seconds to get going. When you jump, there's a weight to it. They did a really good job with that. I'm a big fan of that. Going back to Joust, I love when games replicate momentum, and they try to replicate physics. Pretty hard, but I love the graphics. The game is just a lot of fun. So this is, if you can find this at a good price, definitely get it. This is just a blast. Part 1 is really hard. I want to go through the series in order, and I heard part 2 is pretty short, but part 1 is just rock hard, so I'll be getting to that one later. The next one I tried, well, actually, I'll go with this one first. Earthworm Jim. Really good price on this. I recently, or a couple years back, I got part 2 on the Saturn, and I like to play through series in order, and I didn't know if I'd ever get the first one, so I just kind of held that one back, and I did, and I was trying to play this, but for some reason, I was just really terrible. The controls seemed slightly delayed. Unlike with Cybernator, this seemed like it wasn't intentional. And there was a problem with certain enemies where their recovery animations, where they're invulnerable, lasted way too long. And I would attack them, and I'd have to wait to attack them again. But in the meantime, they would just come right up to me and start hitting. I'm just not used to it. But I'll definitely be playing through it. I've heard so many good things about this game throughout the years, or this series, that I will definitely go through this. So, Earthworm Jim. This one came in really good shape. The next one, I surprisingly never owned. F-Zero. A friend of mine owned it, absolutely loved it. He would bring it over when he'd spend the night. This one came in really good shape. That's kind of how it was. He had the prices were comparable to what you'd find on eBay, but these are just in slightly better condition. What he sold me to this one for, I saw other ones, and they were just torn up and beat, and while they were complete, they weren't great. And so, and he gave me a really good deal on shipping. He knocked he knocked a few bucks off, so when I could send him the money, it was he rounded down basically, which was a huge help on shipping. So thanks so much, Pete. These came really fast, excellent condition, well packed. He sold through all of them, but if he ever sells anything again, which he's prone to do, definitely check him out, because or just check out his channel. He does weekly Q&As now, Really great guy. Like I said, one of the first I've talked to. But F-Zero. Now, this is the one, at first, it was the most expensive, and I wasn't sure, but I got, the longer it went, the more excited I got for this one. And I am now really happy to have it. Street Fighter Alpha 2. This is in fantastic condition. Like, if there's one thing that can compare to a crisp manual, it's nice, unfaded, tight corners on cardboard boxes. Because over the years I get so worn out, but this has a few corners that look like just perfect. Especially with these boxes, it's easy to bend. No bends on any of these. I was actually surprised at that, and when I was taking one out, I thought, man, Pete must have the method perfected of not bending the cardboard. So I was super delicate, because none of them are bent. This was actually a lot of fun. I played through it on Ken in my first sitting. I was surprised. Now, it is sluggish. When you compare it to the PlayStation or Saturn, there are smaller sprites, less background detail. The audio especially suffers, but it's sluggish. But considering what it's on, this has really surprised me. They included a lot I wasn't expecting. They had the rival rounds. I'm surprised they didn't put it on the back. It's whenever you play through certain, with a certain character, towards the end, a little scene appears, and it's their face and dialogue, and it was Ken, and he was mocking Dan, asking if he was good at the art of fighting, which was always a funny SNK dig. But I'm surprised that made it in. And the sprites, I mean, they're not as big as the other systems, but they're big enough. The moves came out great. People complain about the loading, and I can see why you would, but I don't know. I just considered the hardware, and I was super impressed with this. And this is hard to find boxed. I looked online, and a lot of people have cart only, but only one person had boxed, and they were in Germany. But it was a U.S. box. I don't know how they... I guess there's a lot more European collectors of North American games than I imagine. But really happy to have this. A lot of fun. I'm going to try to hook up my Super Nintendo to the Elgato and see if it captures. And if it will, I'll get some of this, as well as some 3DO and other fun stuff. But thanks a lot to Pete. I'm really enjoying these. Gave me a great price on those. I knew they'd be in good shape because I've been just, eyeing his collection behind him for years. Now he's moved on to Super Famicom and import Genesis games, so check those out. He just did some recent pickups. Love import covers of games. I hope he actually gets Target Earth or Assault Suit Linos for the Genesis, because that import cover is one of the nicest I've seen, which is in stark comparison to the garbage that is or the mesmerizing garbage that is the North American one. But everyone, thanks for watching, and I will see everyone later.